Chaos is about to drop. Hey everybody, you're watching Bull, Boom, Bear, Bust, back with another dose. Bolts of the Bust BX4. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Another prediction came true. People said that we were, not everybody, but some people said that we were fear-mongering, that we were doom and gloom, when we said that troops would be deployed in the U.S., and it is here, it is happening, folks. Why? Because of the election. The U.S. National Guard mobilized in key states over worries of unrest. The National Guard is on standby in multiple states, including Washington and Oregon, in preparation for civil unrest. What do we tell you right here on this channel multiple times? Even up maybe a year ago, maybe even more, we said they're going to try to ramp up the rhetoric, both sides, left, right, and they're going to get people riled up, thinking that the other side are monsters, right? This side says that side's monsters. The right says the left is monsters, vice versa. And this is what you get, folks. And I think the economic engineers want nothing more than chaos, so then they could blame any market plunge or correction on the chaos instead of the fact that we're in an economic bubble where the cost of living is way beyond what most people can afford. And therefore, people just have to basically live off of borrowed money. Well, let's talk about this here. And then we've got some other economic news to get caught up on. This has a lot to do with the economy, believe it or not. I think this is all programmed by the economic engineers, if you will. And I think it's all done on purpose. Why do you think we have so many divisive topics where you have all the people on one side agreeing with one solution or one way to handle things? And there's multiple examples I can give you, but why do you think it's always left, right is completely opposite on their views, right? Normally you don't see that in real life just with people. There's more gray area, there's more middle ground. But with the people on these different sides, both parties, you see, okay, they agree, they disagree. Many different issues. I mean, too many to even talk about, right? So we've been preparing for this. I think you've been preparing for this. No surprise, no shock. But yet people are shocked to hear about National Guards getting ready to be mobilized here. We got a Fed rate cut on the on deck, what I think is going to be a surefire rate cut, even though the cost of living hasn't come down. The unaffordability in home prices and housing is still close to the worst that it's ever been, way beyond what 2008 was. And there was a period where people look back at 2008 and they said that was insane. That was crazy. How could have home prices had gotten bid up so high? And now we're way beyond that, but yet nobody questions what's going on, right? But they don't know how the banking system works, how the money's created. Most people just don't know it, so they're just left kind of dumbfounded on that here. Let's talk about, though, more Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett in this case, selling off more stocks here. We've got Berkshire Hathaway's cash fortress topping now $300 billion as Buffett sells more stock and freezes buybacks. So what does he see coming? Is it something to do with what's coming up here in a few days? A couple days, actually. We're going to find out here very, very quickly and, brace for that. But also just be aware of your surroundings. If you're going out, if you're out and about, be ready. And unfortunately, I think what's going to happen here, this could drag on for weeks and weeks into possibly even the new year with what we're going to see. Both sides are not going to concede. They're not going to admit loss. They're going to say the other side cheated. And, regardless of what your views are, maybe you think one side is at fault and the other side's not doing this, but I see both sides possibly engaging in this. But whatever your view is, maybe you're on one side or the other, bottom line is be careful and be careful, where your money's at, especially right now. Another report here on Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, sitting over $325 billion in cash, keep selling Apple stock. All right, we're going to talk about housing, real estate, the cost of living, and a lot more here. Next, though, let's talk about this. Here's the type of news and what I think is propaganda here. Look at this. America's fight with inflation has been won just in time for a bigger battle. So they're declaring that they won the fight on inflation, even though the cost of living has done nothing but go up. Right? Crazy. Isn't this crazy? And we're doing rate cuts here. Another rate cut coming up here in just a few days, in my opinion. It will be announced. The war on inflation has been won. Insane, folks. What do you think about that? Ford More layoffs in addition to Volkswagen here lately. Ford temporarily shuts down production of all electric truck as demand remains sluggish. Auto workers up in Michigan, I think more layoffs here. I'm just bringing up the article. Yeah, more layoffs ahead of the holidays, folks. What they need to do is manufacture more vehicles, and then maybe prices would come down. But you notice they don't want an oversupply. They don't want prices to come down too low. They want prices to remain high, right? So they're cutting back production, even though car prices are still way too high. Automobile prices have not corrected to where they were in 2020. We're still way above that, but yet they're cutting production, even though we need more production. We need more production to balance this thing out a little bit, where dealers are more desperate to sell cars, and they'll be more likely to cut prices if they have bigger inventories of cars, if more cars are manufactured. But you notice they're not doing that, folks. I think it's for a reason. I think it's for that reason. All right, people, let's move on to real estate. We just talked about the housing bubble a couple minutes ago. What's being introduced here in California is housing affordability programs, Prop 5, leading to affordable housing and more spending on affordable housing. But guess who's paying for it? I'm sure you could probably guess, right? By raising taxes on homeowners. So now if you own a home in California, and this is going to go across, I think, many other states, probably the whole country, if you're a homeowner, you're going to be paying for affordable housing. And you notice they can create money out of thin air for everything else, for wars and funding of you name it. If they want to spend money on it, they'll just borrow it. But in this case, the money can't be borrowed. It can't be just printed. It's got to be the taxpayers paying for it. You notice how this works, folks? It's the biggest scam in the world, but hardly anyone knows exactly, how this actually works. Floridians are desperate. They're selling their home. Another thing we said was going to happen here. These folks, many of them left without the right insurance, especially flood insurance. That's very rare that somebody carries that. And many people don't even know that they have to buy it separately in their insurance. I just want to leave Floridians selling flood damaged home to investors after the two major storms there. So investors are coming in, as we predicted, buying homes for pennies on the dollar, as is. In some cases, the home can't even be lived in. So they're just selling what the property or the land is worth. And that's pretty sad when you put all your time, money into a home, possibly just renovating a home. It gets wiped out. You find out you don't have enough coverage, or maybe you had coverage and you can't even pay the deductible, right? Imagine having a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 deductible after losing everything. Folks, you're not going to get out from under that. Most people won't anyway. I mean, close to 70% of people living paycheck to paycheck. So a lot of these people are just cutting and running. In the wake of back-to-back storm damage, hurricanes, Florida homeowners are selling their flood damaged property using words like as is, cash only, and for investors. So what's going to happen here in this case, folks? The balance between people owning their own home and renting from a big-time corporation, corporate America, multi-million, billion-dollar landlord, that's going to continue to drop the home ownership rate. And I think looking ahead, 5, 10, 20 years, if something big isn't done, it's going to be a renter nation. It'll be very uncommon to own your home, and even undesirable, because the cost of owning your home, like the example we just gave you here in California, you're going to see taxes, the cost of owning go higher and higher and higher. The cost of repairs, the cost of everything, insurance, go higher and higher. And, I wish something would come in and change this. But this is what's happening, folks. I don't see either side bringing any solutions. I see a lot of divisiveness, a lot of blame this side, a lot of blame that side, but I'm not seeing hardly any solutions being presented at all. The solutions that we talk about here all the time on this channel, they would be very easy to implement. So to me, that says that both sides do not actually want to help people. They don't want any solutions. And of course, these people, they're making millions of dollars, these leaders, quote unquote leaders, and economic engineers, etc. So I don't see it very likely to change, right? So we got to brace for that and know where to put your money. I still see a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, if you will. I see a light at the end of the tunnel, but we're going to have to go through some very, very dark days. How many days? Who knows? But I do see once a global or nationwide, speaking just in the United States, once a collapse hits, and once people realized what's happened, I think they're going to finally wake up and demand some change. But we'll have to see. We may have to see a lot of unrest and a lot of commotion before that actually plays out here. All right, folks, something else was just revealed that we predicted here also on this channel. And I'm not saying that I'm that smart. I think all of us here could see the direction this thing is going and the poverty and how desperate people have become because of the cost of living. Look at this. Car theft statistics 2024, exactly what we said was going to happen. It got worse, folks. A record-breaking over 1 million vehicles, folks, were stolen in 2023. And guess what? The sad part is 2024 is going to break that record. We're on pace for it anyway. Of course, we still have a couple months to go here. But folks, it's just going to continue to get worse. And I wish I had better news for you, but this is what's happening. I hope you're doing well. Being on top of the news like you and I are puts us in a better position. And we know how to invest to get through this. And we know when to be careful. And I'm being very careful at this point. And I hope you are too. Maybe you're not, though. Maybe you see the markets just going higher, no interruptions, no uncertainty, no chaos, no unrest. And maybe you think that no matter what happens as far as unrest, maybe we will see chaos and unrest, but maybe the markets will continue to go higher. Right? But look at past examples, and all I'm saying is be cautious. If you have cash to invest, maybe have some on the side, like Warren Buffett. He's ready. He's ready for some major disruption to the drop. And it looks like very, very soon. So brace, folks. I'd say we're not out of the woods, at least for a few more months. Folks are very divided. Folks are very angry, blaming the other side instead of looking at the overall system. That's how most people are, folks. But not you, not me. We know what's going on. We know the way this works, and we're going to be ready for it. I'm going to wrap this up, folks. Have a great week. We'll talk to you very soon. Come back for more. Make sure you're subscribed. Very important time to stay ahead of the curve. Keep stacking. Bye for now, everybody. Peace.